Hello, I'm John Feldt. Hello, all my friends in the southeast U.S. This is the weekly water outlook. Well, it's been an interesting week. This time of year, the precipitation patterns are much more meso-scale or smaller scale based than widespread synoptic scale. Here's a good example. Here's some thunderstorms that rolled through North Georgia, producing some flooding and severe weather this past week. And this is very small scale. Now on the right image here, what you see is more of a mid-scale or meso-scale. And this is an area of thunderstorms that developed a derecho over parts of the Great Lakes states, drifted off into the mid-Atlantic, Ohio Valley, and made it all the way over to the East Coast. And this is a cluster of thunderstorms. So this is what we're going to see during the summertime, and they're very hard to forecast much in advance. Now here's the U.S. Drought Monitor. What I wanted to show you here is how little of the region that's in drought, but the drought has been beginning to increase again over southern parts of Georgia and Alabama. You can see here right now it's just classified as abnormally dry. If you look at the changes over 4 weeks, what you can see, if you look at that 1 week, you can see that drought beginning to increase in that area there. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. We need more rain to keep the drought at bay over the southern parts of Georgia and Alabama, and if not, that could be increasing over the next couple of weeks. So here's the precipitation that occurred over the last 7 days. You can see the pockets of heavier rain, that's the 2 inches or more in yellow. That's especially over parts of the Savannah River Basin, right through the central part of the state. Then it really decreased over the southeast and south part of Georgia. Elsewhere, it was pretty scattered. Now, the only isolated heavy amounts were along the North Gulf Coast and across the southern part of Florida. Pretty much fairly scattered type pattern, but I think what makes it notable here is how much of the southeast U.S. that has had at least some precipitation. It wasn't that long ago that we were looking at areas with no precipitation at all. So if we look at gainers and losers, the blue and green are gainers, and you can see these little pockets of heavier precipitation along the Savannah River Basin. Lighter amounts of deficits, and that's the area in yellow. So the blue and green are increases or surpluses of rainfall for the week, and that would be 1 inch or 2 along the Savannah River Basin, western parts of North Carolina, and then the drier amounts over South Georgia. So here's the steering winds that we have, and been an interesting pattern. I certainly can say as we get into close to early summer, sure hasn't been all that quiet. We've had tropical weather and certainly something to look at almost every week. And the current steering winds, we have strong area of high pressure to our south, but really what's going to dominate our weather is this battle between that high pressure and the jet stream, which is dipping to our north. And the jet stream has been winning. It's bringing in enough energy, and we have the moisture over the area to bring scattered showers and thunderstorms. I think pretty much that's the type of pattern that's going to continue right through the end of the month and maybe into early July as well. So this week, here's that jet stream pattern. What I want to point out is this part of that jet stream. It's dipping down just enough to the southeast U.S. to bring enough energy, and with the moisture and a quasi-stationary frontal boundary, that will give scattered showers and precipitation. If we look at the 6 to 10 day outlook, very little change. This high pressure here is really not that dominant. It's not really bowing all that far north, and what it's allowing that to do is still, vulnerable to dipping here, and that's going to give a fairly good chance of rain for Virginia, North and South Carolina, maybe definitely Kentucky, Tennessee, and then as we get down into the southern part of Alabama, Georgia, I think that's when precipitation will be lighter because it won't be impacted by that upper trough as much. So here's the precipitation forecast for the next 7 days. Like I said, scattered showers and thunderstorms. Some of these could be fairly heavy. Look at the rainfall amounts forecast, 2 inches again over the Savannah River Basin, and that's definitely getting a recharge with back-to-back weeks of multi-inch rainfall amounts. And then as we get down into the southern part of Mississippi, southern Alabama, you see much lighter amounts, only a ½ inch or so. But again, I think the main point, just like we saw last week, look at how much of the southeast U.S. is covered with some type of rainfall. We're really getting week after week of consistent rainfall over most areas, not all, and that is recharging water resources over very large areas. Now, if I look at the next 2 weeks, the first week on the top, second week on the bottom, week 2 looks a little bit quieter. It might be more like 30% probabilities and some breaks of days without precipitation. But still, to me, it does look like that there is that chance of rainfall both week 1 and into week 2. Not much change in this overall pattern right through the end of June. So the takeaway points, just enough upper flow over the region to produce scattered showers and thunderstorms. Quasi-stationary boundary will focus precipitation in spots that could be heavy with on and off activity. Very little change in this pattern through the end of the month. I want to wish everybody a happy Father's Day, and I will be talking with you again next weekend. Thanks for listening.